Hello, today I'm going to be going over Khora here. Both these builds are going to be using these two purple Tau Forge Equilibrium shards and one Tau Forge Yellow Cast Speed shards. If you want to put two purple melee crit damage shards here, you can. As for the first build here, this is a Dome, Pilfering Strangledome Shield Gate build. Using Arcane Aegis, Arcane Fury for more damage, this for an extra survivability on top of your catalyzing shields and brief respite. Though, however, since we are using Augur Reach, I'm actually now realizing you can actually replace brief respite, because with catalyzing shields, any little bit of shield does trigger the full 1.3 times, or 1.3 second shield gate. So if you want to put something, I kind of just put Steel Charge there for now, put Growing Power, put Corrosive Projection is probably the best, so put that there. But yeah, catalyzing shields and Augur Reach is enough to get the full 1.3 seconds. As for the helmet, we're using Lycanth's Hunt, as melee attacks drop health orbs, and that is why we have these two shards, as we will constantly be getting melee kills, so those two shards for 60% is enough. Besides that, we're running nearly max range for our Strangledome and for the radius of our Whipclaw. Whipclaw actually maxed out at 10, and I believe yeah, it's at 10 even without reach, so this extra bit of range is just applying to Strangledome. Weapons don't matter, although I will say I do recommend running Grimoire with Zadas, just for extra energy regen. As you can see, I'm actually also running Augur on this, so with triple Augur, that already will fill up our shield, so brief respite really is not needed. As for Venari, one thing is important to note with Venari is because since you have two companions, certain mods like Animal Instinct and like Fetch, you only need to have them on one companion because they apply sort of universally. And the same thing with Tenacious Bond. If you put on Tenacious Bond on your Venari and on whatever your other companion is, you do not get two things of Tenacious Bond, you only get one of them. Things that are unique though are, like their survivability mods, your synth deconstruct, your tandem bond, anything that gives you like specific things for the companion or the companion specifically does are unique, and you should have it on each, whereas things that are sort of more universal are just have them on one. You'll see I have Tenacious Bond on Venari, but I have like Reinforced Bond on my other companion. Here are the claws. And here is the Whipclaw that I'm using just melee exposure, blast. As for the companion, it is a Duriga. There is the Duriga with Tazakor. Wondering why I am using Duriga, it is because for the helmet here, Lycanth's Hunt, killing enemies affected by 5 more sasses increases the duration. And that will basically be every single enemy with Tazakor and Duriga. As for the second build here, this third build is not mine, so I'm not going to be showing it, but for the second build, this is basically a snow dome using Venari specifically, because Venari starts off in attack, but we want to change it to heal for that heal per second, as this is going to be more of a tanking build. Using Blessing to get up to 1665 health. Circumvent for that 1000 armor and 10,000 overguard, adaptation for that 90% damage reduction, and since we're going to be rolling a lot with Circumvent, we have Rolling Guard. One thing to note is for both these builds, on Harmony here, I am running Melee Crane just to get that extra freeze. And yeah, besides that, this build is again low strength because accumulating Whipclaw gives us all the strength we need. And yeah, I just recently put those Equilibrium shards on, so we can also replace that Equilibrium with Reach here. So let's start off with this Dome build. Weapons do not matter, as you're just going to be using your one. Start off with the Dome build for a couple minutes, and then I will go over to the sort of run and spam through. If you saw my Atlas build, it's very similar to that, where you kind of just roll through enemies and then hit them with your Exalted Melee.
Stand by for life support.
go first. Get some energy here. Yes, as you can see with 40% strength, no issue. So put up a dome. Forgot to mention, for your primary and your secondary, if you want to run dexterity, primary, secondary dexterity, go for it. And then also run Naramon. If you have an arc gun, you can also put primary and secondary dexterity on your arc gun mod slots, your deployable arc gun, not your arc-wing arc gun, and those will count. And I do not know why enemies are ran away, but this is basically it for this build. Because you're constantly spamming one, you're basically constantly just activating your shield gate, so don't need to worry about dying. But yeah, that is just basically it for the build. See there, still does more than enough damage. 5.4 million there. Yeah. Leave and go to the other build now. So it's very basic. If you have a core, you probably have something similar to that. But core is a very good farming build for a reason, as Pilfering Strangledome is very good for getting extra loot. Okay, now let's go to this build. One thing to note as well, we do not have Lycanth's Hunt for energy economy on this build. We do have Nourish, so Nourish with those equilibrium shards will be more than enough still.
These are worthy foes. Underestimate them at your peril.
One thing to note is make sure to switch your Venari over to Protect.
The Orican Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support.
As I said, kind of just roll through. Oh, well, we gotta hit the spawn there, but roll through that way. Roll through that way. And that's basically it for this build. It's constantly rolling and spamming your run. If you want to group up enemies, you can. Works even better. Group them up, roll through melee. As you see, there's 7.6 mil. At 7 times combo, so. So group up, roll melee. 13 mil. It's the biggest one I saw there. Yeah, works very well.
All manner of Orican technology may work.
But really don't need to group up if you don't want to. Grouping up just sort of makes them all just easier to roll through. I mean, hell, as you can see here, you don't even need to roll through them, really. Rolling just gives you that extra survivability through Circumvent and the Armor Strip. But yeah, that's basically it for this. Basically, just make sure Venari's on Protect, roll through enemies. If you want to group them up. Don't even need to roll through enemies if you don't really want to. And then the rest of the build is just based around staying alive with health ranking. And since we do have Conditioned Overload on our melee, on our whip, because we have Khora, obviously that is also doing insane amounts of damage. Yeah, that's basically it for this build. In my opinion, I actually like the Pilfering Strangledome for certain missions, this for other missions. However, for this sort of build, I just tend to use Atlas more than this build, so depends. Obviously, Khora's whole identity kind of is the dome, so yeah. Other than that, that is it. Thank you for watching.